that we bargain the calendar every year in June, I just saw. So the contract basically says that they should have a 40-hour work week. I know that you all try to stay around like the hourly amount every year, but June, we heard some feedback that people aren't necessarily happy because the weeks aren't a 40-hour work week. So, and I know that there were different versions of June from last year. So I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. And I think the reps all got together and talked about a solution that they want to propose. So, Joe, do you want to kind of talk about what you all discussed last week? And you're muted.
There we go. Good afternoon.
Hey.
Yeah, I think on this time, I think a few of us kicked around sticking with the 72 hours and going to 10 hours 4 days 1 week and 8 hours 4 days the following week, which keeps it at the 72 hours. And it's kind of the best of both on some level, because the 10-hour folks, chose 10 to work less, and that just pretty much pertains to the 10-hour folks. So working that one extra day, the 10-hour tours and one less appearance works.
So basically, you're saying 10-hour days for 1 week, 8-hour days for the other.
Yeah, and that's your 72. Which is the same amount of hours. It's how it's scheduled right now.
The problem with that is that the payroll system won't handle that, splitting it with 8 and 10-hour days. That's why we discussed it last year. We knew that was an issue. We tried to propose both, and actually even tried to do 9-hour days so that you guys had less work days to go to hit the 72. And we had to make the decision whether it was 8 or 10. And we did have a discussion with the reps when we did that. And I think that was as far back as April, first week of May, that we agreed to the 8 hours. So it's not because we don't want to do it, but the payroll system apparently can't handle that variation during the same month.
Let me ask you this. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. In the summer, with the school district being closed every Friday, isn't it 10-hour days anyway?
It is
for the rest of the employees?
It is for the majority of people, yes.
We've worked 10-hour days as far back as when we went into COVID. We did the 10-hour days. That's what we originally went to, with the understanding of working the 4-day and being closed on Fridays. I guess when we did the COVID began. So it had to be almost like 3 or 4 years ago. We've been doing 10-hour days.
Which, if the hours worked out to an even number at the end of the 10-hour days combined, we were trying to do that. But our stance comes from the logistics of trying to plug that into payroll, from what we were told. That they can't do it and split it, because to come up with the 72 hours, they can't make the system talk to pay you appropriately by doing the 10-hour shifts.
But it's always been 72 hours in June and 80 hours in July, I believe. And correct me if I'm wrong on that, but that's how we've always had it. And we have worked 10 hours. It was actually all 10-hour days before.
Mike, you mean since the AB squad?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. Since the AB squad, that's how we ended up going to that.
Yeah, and like I said, we were not opposed to that. I think Chief Waits, if you can chime in, because I know you were working on the logistics side of this back in the spring last year.
Yeah, for this calendar year, school year going into June, like I said, for the 206 duty day officers, it comes back that they have 72 hours to work. This is separate of the 250 duty day officers that are on the district calendar. The chief tried to get them to do 9-hour days. People saw wouldn't work that. Couldn't do the 10-hour days because you end up with 2 hours that you can't account for. So that's how we ended up with the 8-hour days. It's the same calendar that happened in June of 2022. And depending on how the days fall for the 24-25 school year, looking at it quickly, June of 25, you may be at the 80 hours again. It's just with it being 206 duty days, when you add up the math, you're not always going to hit a solid number at the end of June. You won't always have that 80 hours.
I guess my problem is I didn't know any of this was going on. So under the contract, they're entitled to a 40-hour work week. If yeah, I mean, that's what it says. So we're trying to, I think, compromise. So I didn't know that this was all due to like a processing issue that the district has.
1441.
Yeah, so it's a split.
So if we had this issue before, because I don't recall it. And I mean, since we've
I
been,
We used to work Fridays. Is that what it was?
no, we never worked the Fridays.
No, there
We
was
did do
one
it
summer in
first
June
year
where
we
they
made.
worked 8 hours per day. They worked Monday through Friday because the district was closed because we had to have supervisors out to cover it. June of 2022, if I pull the calendar back up, I think they worked 72 hours in June of 22. They worked in 9 8-hour days.
Yeah, but I have a calendar from last year that has 10-hour days. So I don't know.
1441. Go ahead.
Talk about so
From June of
I wanna
2023.
like processing thing because I think what the parties bargain for. It just seems like we're always talking about there's like a system error. Some reason.
DRO is driving the vehicle. Does he have a learner's license or a regular license? Did you say there were 10-hour days in June of 2023?
I have a calendar version with 10-hour days.
Yeah, I think that was the one that we worked on, and we couldn't do it because it made too many hours for the 206-day people.
And so that's another thing because the annual hours, I think, are always kind of off or we're always talking about them, but that's not actually in the contract. So I just what like we're trying to make everybody happy because now we have the 10-month and the 12-month employees. And I think that was our version of a compromise, having some weeks with the 10-hour days and some weeks with the 8-hour days. But now I'm hearing that there's an issue with the PeopleSoft, I guess.
Well, it's not as though there's always a problem with that. It's just when calendars are built, they enter it into PeopleSoft so that it pays them on this schedule. So everybody has a schedule. When you bring them on board, the system recognizes, well, these are their work days. So it matters in how they're paid and things like that. And I don't know the background to what happens when you adjust that after it's established. I just don't. I'm just not aware. And not to throw an extra wrench in all of this, but the calendar was modified months ago now, where June 19th is the district is closed. So the existing calendar, even as is, will have to be changed.
All right. Maybe you guys need to do that proposal and then we can kind of figure it out because I guess we don't even have what you are proposing now if you have to get rid of one of those days. So
Yeah, I think in talking with Chief, one of the ways to resolve it is moving the squad B from the 19th to the 12th. And the 19th would, obviously the district is closed. As
Maybe.
is, that's the simplest change to the existing schedule that you got out there. I'm really not aware of like what goes into changing the schedule in PeopleSoft. I'm just not aware. So
What do you guys think of all that? Because you are the ones.
So you're saying the district is closed June 19th?
Yep.
And you want to switch that day. So it doesn't seem like it seems more like a payroll issue than a negotiating issue. Seems like we're pretty much flexible on every side. I don't want to say both sides. I like to say every side. And it's just a matter of payroll at this point with their.
Well, it changed every year, and I think we have a group that feels strongly about having the 40-hour work week, and then we have another group that's okay with having 8-hour days for the 4 days a week. So that's why we wanted to do maybe like
Exactly.
2 weeks of one, 2 weeks of the other. This is the first time I've seen the June calendar or heard about this issue. So, but if we have to amend it again, then I guess you guys can amend it how you propose, and then you can send it to us, and then we can talk about it once the reps. There has to be a way, I would think, around the PeopleSoft issue, because June is kind of its own thing anyway. Every year it's different than in all the other months. So
Yeah, I'm not sure. I really don't know. I wish I could speak to that, but I can't. I will find out. So I will. I mean, I think right now we can just look at it. Chief, are you good with what we discussed on? Initially our proposal would be to take the squad B that's on for 8 hours on the 19th and do a double up on the 12th where it's squad AB for 8 hours. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's the way to fix the one issue that we have, but that does adjust, what we had put out. Now, the other problem is we've got people that have had this schedule since last year. So if they've already scheduled vacations and that kind of thing, we don't want to jerk the schedule around too much, because this has been posted since last year.
Yeah.
what were you move squad B on 6/19 to what?
The 12th
The 12th.
week, 1 week before,
Okay.
like to have an AB squad.
They're supposed to start on the 13th, but now they would start on the 12th.
So that is something I guess we'd have to discuss.
Just how would you feel about? Well, forget it. Never mind.
Sorry?
Actually, I was thinking about as an option on the 27th when Squad B works, trade the 19th for the 27th. It gives them a bigger weekend.
mean work on the 19th?
No, no, don't work on the 19th because you said it's closed. So work on instead of working on the 12th, an AB squad. Oh, never mind. I'll take it back.
The 27th, they're already on.
Yeah, they're already on. I see.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I guess this changes every year. The contract says they have to have a 40-hour work week. Maybe we should talk about changing it to an annual hourly amount.
Yeah, in the contract, because I mean, ultimately, you might not need a 40-hour, like to satisfy their duty days, they don't need 40 hours, right?
Well, I'm
Correct.
about summer. I'm just talking about summer because I think we're gonna have
Right.
we try to just get rid of a 40-hour work week. But it seems like something new. It's not exactly the same any year. So
Yeah, it all differs based on when school starts, when it ends, and stuff like that.
yeah, if you could find out more about the people thing, because then I think if we know more about that, then that would help us. Because
You're breaking up, Katie.
can you hear me now?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I just said if you can find out more about the PeopleSoft issue, that may help. Because I think that we want to make this work, but depends what you can do on your side.
Okay.
I agree. I think we're right on the same page. We just got to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we'll connect. I'll connect with Chief and her team on this, and we'll send a modified schedule based on the addition of Juneteenth, and get some information on PeopleSoft and get back to you.
Okay, great. And I
And
think
Chief, they also wanted to know about the AB, when they're going to be able to pick out for the AB schedules.
I think Chief Waits, we were ready to send that out, or no?
Yeah, we'll have it out. Should have it out probably tomorrow, Mike.
Well, maybe before we do that, though, we might want to finish.
Well, the choice is for the July. I think
Oh,
they're
for
already set for June.
Oh, okay, got it. All right.
okay.
But now that we're going to have to mess with the schedule, that may, I mean, that may open it up to rebidding altogether. But like I said, is we do have people that have had this calendar, and may have already planned vacations based on what we initially posted last year. So I don't want to mess up their plans
Right.
by now changing the schedule too much.
Well, I think that it just creates one less appearance, pretty much. You just hear a couple more hours.
Yeah, we're just talking about changing the length of the day, not necessarily the days.
Sure.
Yeah, and like I said, is we were fine with that, and we were trying to work with it, but it was a processing problem because of the way the system counts the hours as days. So that was my understanding why it had to. We could have done 8 or we could have done 10. My preference would have been to plug in 9-hour days to get to your total that you needed, but they weren't able to figure out how to do that, because then it would have been less work days, but with the same amount of hours. So we can try to figure it out, and then we'll get back to you to see what the availability is on that.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah. I don't think I ever saw the June. So if I can just see them from now on when they go out, then, or before they go out, then that would be.
You should have seen it. I don't know
Yeah,
why you don't have it.
We went through this in bargaining, didn't we? I think
Yeah.
it was met last year in bargaining, because really once you lay out the school year, June is pretty easy. It's just like what's left.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I don't recall seeing the 8-hour days either, though. On the, I'm not. Maybe I just overlooked it too, but I don't. I guess I wasn't really paying much attention because we've always done, or we're doing the 10 hours before. So
Maybe we put it out too early.
yeah, that could be it too.
Okay. So we'll wait on that. And then I think we just had a few questions. You guys, I think the reps had questions about the traffic policy. Do you guys want to ask her about that? About the duty to, or it says really you should only respond, I guess, on district property. Did you guys have questions about that?
Yeah, I'll speak on that. My question was that it's clear in the new policy, or if that's what changed in it before. Maybe I missed it because I know some things are kind of redundant. It states that traffic stops will only be done on district property. But my question is what happens if we're driving to and from work, or for whatever reason, even if a unit's mobile or a supervisor for that matter witnesses a school bus incident where they got the stop signs out, and you're sitting in your patrol car and someone runs the stop signs on the bus. That becomes an issue, a safety issue for ourselves, and an expectation that we would, address that in that, time period. Or like bus related traffic stops.
I wouldn't have a problem with bus related traffic stops, but to put that in specifically, typically anything that's not going to be on our property is going to be governed by mutual aid. And if it's something that's that's an immediate emergency that mutual aid would cover you intervening. Having an issue with a bus load of kids that you have somebody speeding by it or passing by it, you would have the ability to do a traffic stop under that. And that's kind of our jurisdiction anyway if the bus is stopped. So you'd have to try to put that into a box is kind of hard to articulate that specifically into the contract, but you guys aren't going to get in trouble for pulling a traffic stop on somebody messing around with a school bus.
I'm assuming that falls under, in the statute, it says something like a school event. So I'm guessing that a stopped school bus is a school event, like a prom or something like that.
There's no designated bus stop except for where the bus stops. So anywhere in that area was always my assumption too, that we can stop in that area where the bus
Yes.
is. We
Yes.
can make a traffic stop.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because the
And-
bus
and
may
then-
stop at a different spot every day,
Right.
and I don't mean mile away, but yards away, 150 yards away from where it is because of safety reasons.
Or probably
And now that
thousands.
bus stop moves to where that bus is.
Correct. So that would, that falls within your jurisdiction anyway, but the thing with the duty to render, to intervene on other things, like we have some people that like to pull traffic stops on I-95 that has nothing to do with the bus. We don't need to be doing that. If there's a crash in front of you and there's bodies flying all over the place, you don't drive by that in a marked unit, you stop. that would be part of your mutual aid and what the expectation would be. But I don't want to paint anybody into a box as to what you're going to do or not do. But the jurisdiction around that bus is going to be ours anyway. So you could do a stop if you wanted to.
And kind of it
Understood.
stops. It just says you have to perform your lawful duties. So
Yeah, I think the separate statute
Right.
says violent crime. Doesn't speculate misdemeanor or felony, just says violent.
okay, and then with the technology one, really, I just wanted to ask, like they're still, I don't know, I printed that somewhere. They can have their personal cell phones on them. This is more
Yes.
so to
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right, that's really all I had. Did you guys, and then you changed the eval sheet for FTOs, but the content.
Yeah, the only thing that changed on that was the numbering system. All the criteria are the same, the explanations are the same. It's just to get them on a 1 to 5 grading scale as opposed to a 1 to 7 and narrow
Okay.
it down.
And then the
That's
special.
that's what's in the system anyway already.
Okay, and then the specialty unit, no one's affected in that.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right, you guys have anything else?
I got one more question. I know I want to go back. Don't really want to hit calendars too much, but July was posted for A and B that we agreed upon, and nice enough to get out soon enough so people can make arrangements if you're a 10-monther. My question was, and forgive me if I'm wrong because I'm not a 10-monther and I haven't heard anybody say this to me, but is there going to be a shift bid for choose for A and B for those officers, or are we just going to roll through it and just say you are what you are?
That's what was just asked. Mike just asked that. We're gonna put that out. If you want to trade, we'll keep you where you're at. But if you want to trade, that would be the time. So they're going to be putting that out this week. But that would be
Okay.
for your July schedule, not for the June. June's already set.
Yeah, understood. Okay, that's all I had. Sorry, I missed it.
Well, and on top of that is you're going to have the opportunity to switch from 206 to 250 again. We have that in the contract, but that's usually a little bit further down the road, closer to May. We could do it earlier if people are wanting that, so that they can make that disclosure and they don't have to worry about A and B shift rolling into July. But our intention was to do that closer to the end of the school year.
Okay. You guys good?
Question. Chief, any update on the rollout of the new computers?
They've been issuing them. So if you got something that's not working like horrible, if it's working horribly, get with Mike Rakis, because we've got the computers. He's been rolling them out. So
Okay.
if you've got something that's not functioning right, get with him and he can fast track you. He's got a schedule of trying to roll them out. So
Okay. And if we don't have a computer to monitor cameras, we still, with the plan that we're going to have the option to keep the old computers for that purpose?
you'll have to talk to him about it to see if I don't know if they're trading them in or what they're doing with them. We'll figure that out though. You could get you monitors or get you a desktop that could do that.
Okay. And from what I understand, the current new radios also have the Wi-Fi capability. I don't think, is it hooked up yet, or it's going to be hooked up or something?
We're not going to add anything more to the radios that they have now. They actually gave us kind of the through the kitchen sink at us for free for the first year. So I don't want you guys using everything that I'm planning to pull the plug on once we start paying for it. As long as things are working, you got the GPS part in it, the things that are necessary, that's what we're going to keep. But as far as the Wi-Fi capability, I don't think that is actually on at this point.
Okay.
Question on the Wi-Fi for the radios. Is that something that you expect to add to help with the schools that don't have service still? Is that great? Because I know
we're doing a BDA project, so they're actually going to be putting more amplifiers in the schools. They've started contracting that out. So the schools that we know are bad on the reception or towards the worst end of the reception, those are going to be the schools that get assessed first, and then doing the amplifiers for that. I'll have to look into it with Edwin in regard to the Wi-Fi capabilities, but I don't know that capability is going to help you transmit any better in the schools. But if it does, we'll look at it.
Okay. Yeah, that was my question.
Yep.
Chad, do you have specific schools that you'd like for us to add to the BDA reception list?
I know for sure there is Frontier and Osceola Creek out here in Loxahatchee with these new radios. They don't have any reception signs still. I
Okay.
believe
Yep.
Pierce Hammock also is having issues.
Yep,
as
they're
well.
all on the list to be given
I
priority.
figured they were, but I was just wondering if the Wi-Fi was a fix for that, or if that's something that you're looking into.
Mine too, Grassy Waters. Is Grassy Waters on the list? Good.
Yeah, it's here.
Okay, thank you.
Has there been a survey? I guess you're going off a survey for the reception.
No, we actually put it out in a department meeting that if you are still experiencing radio issues, to let me know and we'll get it on the list that's shared with facilities construction. So right now we have 27 schools that have been brought to our attention.
Good.
Okay. All right. So we'll just wait to hear from Ben, and then hopefully June will be an easy fix.
Sounds good.
Okay. All
All right.
right.
Thanks, everybody. Have a nice day.
You too.
Thank you.